Alright guys, we're going to be pulling the radiator on this today and changing this since it's, you know, the mounts are broke. It's still holding coolant, so it's something I might keep or maybe I'll scrap. I don't know. We'll figure that out later on. So we're going to be changing that. So, you know, pull the air box. I talked about that in one of my other videos. So I already have that out of the way because I was doing some other work on this thing. So I'm going to go through and explain to you how to change the radiator, how to pull it apart, and how to get it off. So we'll get started. First things first, what you got to do is find the drain on this. The drain on this radiator is on the passenger side, bottom of it. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is get a bucket underneath of it, open the drain up, let it drain all the coolant into a bucket or container, and then you can start pulling your hoses off, and I'll get talking about that. Alright guys, I got the radiator drain in here. One thing to do is before you start this, make sure your radiator isn't hot. Don't be running the car and think I'm going to go home and change it. Let it cool so that way you don't burn yourself. So, because it ain't no fun to burn yourself with hot coolant. So, as that's draining, first things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take this upper hose off and just take your flat blade. Take the flat blade and just, in this case mine's a flat blade, some of them you need pliers for, so you know, watch if they're the clamp that you have to use pliers on. You can also use a socket on it too, since this is a hex one, so you can do that. You can use either. So I'm gonna set this down. I'm gonna take this clamp off, pop this hose off, and show you guys next step. Right, so now we got these nuts and bolts here. Sometimes they're just bolts that go through and thread into the metal. This radiator has been changed before. Somebody's used some nuts and bolts, so we're gonna go ahead and take them out. There appear to be number 11s on this one. I don't know what the original would be. I think it would be about the same, 10, 11, maybe a 12. So go ahead and take, you got 4 of them. You got one there, one down there, and then sometimes you're gonna have 2 bolts holding your power steering on. This one does not. It's only got one of the 2. So you usually have one there and you have one there. So I'm just to have that one. I'm gonna take that one out. I'm gonna take the other one that's down there. So you got 4 of them that hold the shroud on. Go ahead and take them loose. Watch your power steering reservoir because that's full of fluid. So make sure your cap's on tight, and go ahead and take that loose and just kind of set that off to the side. And once you get them loose, you can do something with the fan shroud. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to be doing next. Alright, so I got them bolts out. I only had 3. I was missing one. It happens. I'm going to find something to put back in it later on. So what I did for now is I just slid it back over the fan just to get it out of the way. I'm not worried about taking it completely out right now. That's not what I'm worried about. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crawl underneath, and I'm going to take a screwdriver and disconnect that hose. Oops, I'm sorry. I was blocking the camera. I didn't realize that. Disconnect that hose down there. So I'm going to show that to you guys from underneath. So I'm going to crawl underneath here. And oops. There. There. So we're going to take a flat blade screwdriver, unscrew that, pop that hose off, and when we do, we're going to make sure to have a bucket under that when we pop it off, because we're probably going to get some coolant dripping out. Actually, I think that's just penetrant that I sprayed on everything. Run it down. I pulled the stuff earlier. I had some stuff running out. I think that's just penetrant. Yeah, that's what it is. Yep, that's penetrant. So, if you think your hoses are bad, replace them now. It'll be easier because you got coolant drained down. These hoses seem pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you guys what to do next. All right, I got the bottom hose off. So now we're gonna go through and take these 6 bolts. There's 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then there's 3 on the other side. I believe they're number 10s. So there's there, and then down below. Let me get my light. Oh, I left my light down here. Let me grab my light. Let's see if I can grab my light. So, I can show you guys better. So you got the one there, one down there, one all the way down there. So we're going to take them out, and take the 3 out on this side, this one, and that one right there. So we're going to take all 6 of them bolts out so we can get the radiator out. Now, you can use an air ratchet while doing this, but the problem is sometimes with an air ratchet you break the clip-on or slide-on nut plate. Let me move that so you guys can see it. Okay, see that nut plate right there? Sometimes with an air ratchet you'll break them. The other thing that's good to do sometimes is to hit them with just a little bit of like PB Blaster or penetrant oil, and usually you can get in there and you can get to them through here, and you can hit them. You can kind of get to them this way. It's kind of hard to show you with the light, but you can oil them that way. If they do break and you got skinny hands, if you don't have a chrome insert like this, you might have to pop this out if you have one, but if you don't, you can usually fit your hand in there. With this insert out of the way, I can. I've had to do that before, so I can get down in there and hold them with pliers. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get them 6 bolts out. The bottom 2 bolts, you really only need to loosen most of the time. I don't know with this radiator. This one you might have to take them all the ways out. On the new radiator, which I have set up over here, this is the front side. So let me show you guys with this. This is a new style radiator that I'm going to put in this thing. It should mount right up. So you got your bottom hose there, your top hose there, and then if you have a automatic, that's what these are for the trans cooler if you have an automatic. If you don't have an automatic, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about them. So if you have an automatic, then you're going to use them. If you don't, well, not a big deal. Now, let me show you guys this, what I was talking about. Okay, this is the bottom bolt holes here. A lot of times they're cut and slotted. So this corner's a little bit bent. I'll fix that in a minute. But usually you could slide, you could drop it right down on the bolt, on the bottom one to hold it there. So this is where your 6 bolts are. So I'm going to go ahead and go pull my 6 bolts out and see if I can get the old radiator out so I can put this nice new one in and be ready to go. Alright guys, I got the new radiator stuck in here. It's been a pain because the rib nuts all broke. What I ended up doing was taking a little cutoff wheel and just skimming the side of the nut, so that way it would alleviate the locking mechanism on these, so then I can grab it with a pair of pliers and get them off. Then I was able to use nuts on the rest of them. I put my hand in through the grill like so. As you can see, I had to take the chrome off one of them so I could reach in there and get to it. So I was able to re-bolt it up with some nuts. So now your next thing that you got to do is hook up your hoses. Put your hose to go back to your reservoir back on there. Put your upper hose on it here. Put your lower hose on. Put your shroud back on. Reverse order like you guys took it apart, and then you'll be done.